Hello, my loves, and welcome back to the Can't Stop Talking podcast. I have a manifesting episode for you today. The best, my favorite to record. And this one is truly business changing, honestly, life changing if you think about it, because your business changes your life. So today we are going to talk about how to manifest clients with this belief. And I just want to say this week, you're going to have the best podcast episode you've probably listened to out of all my episodes because I feel like a new woman. I got my nails done and I literally set the intention that I was going in to the nail salon as one person and coming out with a new identity. I am now the richest version of myself. I'm the baddest version of myself. Like, I am a new woman with these nails. And so the next time you go to the nail salon, decide that you're coming in one person and coming out like the 2.0 version of you. This is Samantha 2.0. Hi, it's nice to meet you. I'll do a little ASMR for you guys on the mic. If this comes out terrible and it's like hurting your ears, like it never happened, okay? Okay, I hope that sounded really good. But anyways, back to the episode. So today we are going to talk about manifesting clients with this belief. What I have found when clients come to me, and when I first started my business, I 100% had this belief. And this belief comes up actually at any stage in your business. And it's your job to reconnect the version of you who knows the truth. And so basically, that is a lot of times people feel as though they are stealing from people when they are selling their services. They feel like they are taking money without an exchange. You know, they're selling their services and they feel so bad when clients pay them, and they feel, bad taking people's money, whether it's $20 or 10,000. Like, they just have this exchange where they don't feel good about taking people's money. They say taking people's money as exchange for your goods. And as we know, right? That means you're not a vibrational match for clients. You are a vibrational match for clients when what you're thinking and feeling and taking action on matches what you desire. So if you feel icky, if you feel salesy, if you feel gross, right, about people paying you, then you are not going to get clients. And it's so crazy because I've literally had clients who were like, wait, I got into the vibe of like people paying me in 1 week and a client appeared. I'm like, yes, exactly. That's exactly what I'm talking about. And they're like, this manifestation thing is no joke. I'm like, I know. This is why I live, breathe. This is why it's like my religion. Like, of course, I know. And so here's the thing. We need to get you out of the mindset of thinking that you are stealing from people, of thinking that people don't want to pay you, of thinking that you are not, giving them the best service in the world. And what we need to actually change this belief into is people have money. My favorite freaking affirmation is my audience has an abundance of money to pay for my services. And here's where we go wrong. I feel like, obviously we've heard that no one has money. It's the economy. They don't want to spend money on coaching, right? This month, right? We always hear like in December, people are spending money on gifts and they're not spending money on themselves, blah, 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 blah. These are all things that are not true. Is it true that no one in this world, out of the billions of people in the world, right? We're talking to billions of people on Instagram alone, that no one has money to pay for your services? Do you hear yourself? That is delusional. That is delusional on the other side. That's insane. That's not true, right? It's absolutely not true. And here's the other thing. It's not even about people having money, because there are people who have, so much money, but they don't see the value in coaching. And then there's other people who actually don't have the money, but they know that coaching is so valuable and they want to pay you. And once you actually develop the belief that people want to pay you and they, will pay you, they're excited about paying you, they're giddy about paying you, that's what happens. I always talk about the fact that my client came to me $80,000 in debt, right? And she had no business in wanting to pay for my services, right? However, she came to me and she was like, I know without a doubt, she knew that this was the step that she needed to take in order to change her life. And you guys know what I said. I said, I will never tell you to spend money on my services. This needs to come from you. This needs to wholeheartedly, 100%. You need to decide, right, that you want this and you are okay with the outcome regardless of what happens. And that's the reason that I attract clients to my DMs instead of going out and cold DMing, because I want people to come to me when they are ready on their journey and they feel comfortable investing in me. And so what happened, as you guys know, I need to retell the story, but she ended up working with me for 3 years and getting rid of $80,000 in debt. And now she owns a six-figure plus business. She went from not being able to buy her kid Christmas presents every year to spoiling him. She bought her family a car. She gets flown all over the world. And she's not even, part of her business is coaching, but she's actually a product service-based business. And so it just makes me cry. But to think about the fact that if I had the belief that people don't want to pay me or people don't have the money to pay me, then she would have never came in and together we would have never changed her life. And that to me is I need you guys to hear that story and be like, oh my God, if I don't decide that someone needs to find me and they need to pay me and they need to find my services, right? And they need to join my program, then you aren't going to change lives. Once you start realizing that people need what you're offering from you, no one else. They need the way that you teach. They need your experiences that you've had. They need your belief system. Once you start to actually realize that you are the person that people need, that's when you change lives. And I want you to think about the fact that if that person doesn't find you, where could they be? They could be in the same place that they've been. I always say this to my clients, right? Someone asked me once, they were like, oh, I'm scared to charge this much for, she was a love coach. She was like, I'm scared to charge this much. And I was like, do you realize that if someone told me you can spend $100,000 tomorrow and we'll deliver you your soulmate, how many people would do that? So many people. If they said $1 million and they'll give you your absolute soulmate, people would be literally working their butts off, right? Because that is so valuable. So you have to start realizing that you aren't stealing from people. You are giving them something in return that is changing their goddamn life, right? And I used to coach a personal trainer and she was like, I'm scared to up my prices because, it's just personal training. And I was like, honey, and this is where really my confidence list that I always tell you guys to make comes from. I'm like, honey, you think it's just personal training? I'm like, that person goes to you for an hour that week. And what happens? One, you're their therapist. I know so many personal trainers that help people they talk through their whole session, right? Because I've gone to a lot of personal training sessions. You're their therapist. They leave there. They're feeling high on endorphins. They're feeling happier, right? They're going to work. And since they're happier, they're getting a raise. They're feeling better about themselves. So then when they go out and they go dating, they are attracting the people they want to attract. Like the ripple effect of your one coaching session could also be the fact that they live 10 years longer because they're healthier. Like you are really downplaying everything that you do. And it is wild to me. Like I even think about, I had a client come to me and she was like, you fixed my marriage because I stopped talking to my husband about my business and my business problems because I had you and you fixed my business. And I was like, amen, honey. Like I need you guys to start to realize how extraordinary you are. And there is no price point on the value that you provide. And that doesn't mean to go out and charge insane amount of money. That's not what it means at all. It means to realize that people need you and they want to pay you and they have abundance to pay you and you will change their absolute life. And it's so funny about that personal trainer. She did up her prices and, people started buying from her because of this belief. But it's so funny because me and my mom, every week we would be so excited when my dad went to his personal training session because he would come back a happier man. So the family would be happier. He would make more money. We would be in a better mood, right? And we would be tighter as a family. Like you don't realize the ripple effect of everything that you do with your clients, small or large, is really changing their life. I was talking to someone yesterday and she was like, yeah, forget if it was like a family member or something, but they were like, let's just say it was their aunt. She was like, I think it was a random person, whatever. It was a random person. And they were like, yeah, she is actually a defense lawyer for people who are in the wrong. So it's like people who, murdered people, they are defending them. It's like, you're over here feeling bad about charging for your services, and there's someone who is defending a freaking murderer and getting paid for it. Like, you are changing lives. You are, right? You are adding so much love and light and incredible things to this earth. And once you start to realize that and own that, everyone starts to feel better. And when you develop this belief that people have money, they have abundance of money to pay for your services, and they want to pay for your services, and they're excited and they're giddy, that's what happens. I have so many people who are like, oh my gosh, I literally cannot wait to jump into your stuff. I have just today, someone was like, I am literally putting you on your vision board and I'm manifesting. She's in DBA. She was like, I'm manifesting working with you one-on-one. Like, I'm so excited. And she even said, she was like, I'm not doing it for the strategy. I listen to your podcast and I'm doing it for the mindset. Like, she just wants to be in my energy, but she's so excited about it. I want you to think about the last time you were so excited to purchase something, and imagine if that person was like, nope, you can't do it. Like, what? People love spending money. They get endorphins from spending money. Like, they get so excited about changing their lives. And you have to realize this, right? People go out and they spend $10,000 on a Chanel bag, and you don't think you're worthy enough of people to spend money on you and your services. That's crazy. That's crazy. That Chanel bag isn't changing their life, but you, the freak, are. So I want you guys to start, changing this in your mind. I want you to start realizing that you are a vibrational match for clients when what you're thinking, feeling, and taking action on matches what you desire, right? And so when you actually feel the feelings, I want you to feel right now, here is a client. I give it to you, right? That client's so excited to sign up. They're ready. Feel those feelings for 10 seconds. I know you can do it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, right? You felt those feelings. That's what you need to do throughout the day. You need to feel the feelings of the clients are already here. And that's literally what's going to make you a vibrational match. It's as easy as that. Going back to when you're looking at your reality and you're like, they're not here. Oh, no, go back to the feelings of what would it feel like if they are here? And what happens when you say to yourself, people love to pay me, people have an abundance to pay me, people get giddy to pay me, and you feel those feelings at the same time, and then you take action, here is the fire. When you take action from that place, you actually change the way that you write your copy, right? You start sounding like the authority. You're like, if you're not in this, what the hell are you doing, right? But you mean it. You're not saying that from a salesy place. You're like, you can come or not, but like, it's going to change your life. So you better, jump on this now instead of later. Or you change the way that you show up online. Your shoulders are back. You're more confident in video, right? You actually believe what the hell you're saying. Or you do the things that you know you need to do. Who has been there? When you start to feel bad and you're like, oh my gosh, I feel so bad about like this profession. I feel bad charging people. I don't like that I'm taking money. When you do that, right? When you do that, you don't show up. You don't post. You don't sell. And you don't do it in the right mindset, right? Because you feel like, what's the point? This isn't good. But when you do know that you are incredible and you change lives, you show up from a different place. You post more, you make more podcast episodes, you go live more, you do all the things more because you're excited. Because why are you not going to do it if you're changing lives, right? That's insane. And I want you guys to remember that for everyone listening who was in corporate America, at one point, you were literally not even contribute. Like I don't know what your job was, but for me, right, I worked for a fashion company, amazing. But like I said, I was charging people $10,000 for a Chanel bag, right? Why can I think that, oh my gosh, I'm doing something here that actually is going to make someone's life so much better, and feel if I could get behind the Chanel bag, I can 100% get behind myself and my services. And so this happens time and time again, just drinking some water, that I even realized, like, this happened to me a year ago where I was like, oh my gosh, I'm feeling like, again, that feeling of like feeling guilty. And this sometimes happens when I raise my prices or whatever, if I'm, selling something that's higher ticket. But at this point, it doesn't really happen to me anymore. But this happened to me last year. And so that's why I'm saying go back to this podcast whenever it does. And I remember being like, I have to stop seeing people in my mind as, not having money to sign up. And so when I was manifesting my sold out mastermind launch, I decided I was getting 5 women in. I did this technique, and you guys, I've talked about this before, but if you haven't heard this, it's good to hear again. Or if you haven't heard, or if you haven't heard this, you're gonna have chills. I In my mind, I pictured this one client that I really wanted in, and I saw her in my DMs. I visualized her in my DMs saying, like, what can I sign up for the mastermind? Blah, blah, blah. We had a conversation. She signed up right away, paid in full. And then I saw her going to her family or her friends or her partner, whoever in her life, and being like, I am so excited that I just signed up for this. Like, I've been waiting for this. Like, I'm so glad she opened this and allowed me to get in this. And she was just so giddy about this purchase. What happened is that client came into my mastermind. She signed up. She paid in full. She was actually the first person in the mastermind. And then what happened is when she joined the mastermind, I told her the story about how I manifested her. She was asking about manifesting clients. She said, holy shit, Sam, that's exactly what happened. I literally went to my boyfriend after. I've never paid in full for anything like that. And she was like, I went to my boyfriend and told him how literally excited I was for this mastermind and how I was waiting for something like this. And it just gave me chills because I'm like, what you are manifesting is real, right? It's actually freaking happening. And then I kept the faith. I kept going back to the feeling of like, people want to buy from me. People want to be in this mastermind. And the last day of the freaking launch, because I held the vibe, I had someone come out of freaking nowhere who was actually in a different container with me, meaning a different container where I was the peer, like we were peers in that container. And she was like, oh my gosh, like I know we're in the same container together. I just saw that, you have this mastermind. Would I be a good fit? We talked and she joined 3 hours before it closed, right? Because people want to pay you. They want to pay you immediately. They want to pay you now. They're giddy to pay you. They're excited to be in your freaking energy. And so that's what happens. Like and what I want you guys to know is get behind yourself, get behind your product, get behind your audience. Those are the 3 things that like you need to change in your mind to manifest, because I'm obsessed with my offers. I know my one-on-one coaching is the best of the best, and I'm incredible. Like I just put my all into it. I'm obsessed, and I'm obsessed with the results that they get. I'm also obsessed with DBA. You guys see me. I talk about it literally every day. And I'm like, I know this is a steal. I know it's incredible. I know people literally are stupid if they're not in this. And that's not even something to be like rude or a sales tactic. But because I feel that way about DBA, I have people message me, like literally testimonials that you would think that I made them right, that are like, I just can't believe this. Like DBA is incredible. I can't believe how much value you give and how much you put into it and how much access we have to you and like all these things. And they're like, it's just such a steal. Like, I can't believe that. And that's because truly that's the way I talk about it. And that's the way I believe. And that's my belief system. And I really think, and I know that because I feel that way about it, that's why other people feel that way. Because I know that there's probably other people with my program who don't feel that way and at the same price point, and they don't come off like that. And people are like, oh, this program's okay. It's literally about your belief. The other thing is law of detachment, right? So I know that people love to pay me. And so even when I've had clients who are one-on-one clients maybe, and they've gone on to sign with another coach, I'm like, oh, I don't care. Like, amazing. Their journey is their journey. Maybe they need something different, but I know I'm amazing. And I'm so excited for whatever way that they get to that result. And if that's not through me, that's okay, because my worth isn't tied to my clients. And I know I'm going to make money regardless if clients sign up with me on repeat. And you know what happens from that belief system? I've literally had clients go to another coach and then be like, oh my gosh, I need to come back to you. And they've messaged me and they're like, going to that other coach has made me realize how much I freaking love your coaching and I value it. And I can't wait to do one-on-one coaching with you again. And it's just, like use this in your dating life, you guys too. If you are talking to a boy and he, ends up talking to someone else, I want you guys to detach and be like, well, I know I'm the ish. I know I'm the best thing ever. So I know even if they go talk to someone else, they're coming back to me. But the other thing I want you to know is like, I'm detached from my clients. I don't care if they sign up with me once or they sign up with me for 3 years. Their journey is their journey, because I know I'm a vibrational match for clients and for money. So if it's not them, it's going to be someone else. And I love that. And that just doesn't make it a sticky situation. And then stop making things mean something about something else. I always say this, right? But stop making them, for example, if you say the price and then they ghost you, mean anything about your reality. This is what I see. I see people being like, oh, people love to pay me. They have an abundance of money to pay me. They're giddy to pay me. And then they get ghosted when they say the price and they're like, I need to lower my price. Something's wrong. I need to switch everything about my business. And I don't do that at all. I'm like, oh, I just know that I'm incredible. And so what happens literally, I can't even explain. It's probably like, I would say 9 times out of 10. I know that's crazy, but like I truly believe I'll say the price and maybe they won't answer. And then they'll come back a month later and be like, wait, I actually want to jump into this, higher priced item. It just wasn't the right fit for them. And why this happens, because I didn't make it mean that they don't want my services. I just made it mean that, okay, right now it's not the right time, but later is going to be. And then they come back. Right. But if I had messaged them and be like, I follow up, I'm like, why aren't you joining this? You need to be in this, blah, 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 with this desperate energy, they're not going to join. Instead of sitting there and being like, oh, I know if this person's not going to join, someone else is going to, and they're going to come back as well. Like that is the vibe, right? Next, when you see something the opposite in your reality, always go back to the feeling of what I want is already here. What I want is already here. What I want is already here. Feeling the feelings of having a client, right? And speak to your clients like they want to pay you, right? I want you guys to start, and maybe I'll do a separate podcast about this, but like, do not speak to your audience like they're broke, like they don't have money, like all this thing. You need to start speaking to them like they value coaching, like they know that they need to invest in themselves, like they know that it's life changing. I had a client actually message me about Become a Soulmate Magnet, which is one of my DIY courses, and it's 10 times less than DBA. And she asked about Become a Soulmate Magnet. She was like, is Become a Soulmate Magnet in DBA? And I could have said like, yes, I would jump into Become a Soulmate Magnet and then into DBA, right? And assume that she didn't have money for DBA. But instead, I said to her, like, this is what Become a Soulmate Magnet is. This is what's in DBA. Which one do you want to choose? And acted as if she had the money and she had the option to choose, and she chose DBA, right? So stop assuming that people want the cheaper thing. They want the thing that's best suited for their journey and going to get them the best results. And so you're doing your clients a disservice if they're coming in and asking for one-on-one coaching and you're like, no, here's a $27 thing, because you're acting as if they don't have money. You have no idea about that person. You are, making things up, and that's what's going to happen in your reality. I always talk about this. I used to have a client who was an esthetician, and she would never ask her clients if they wanted an up service. So after their facial, like, do you also want this amazing mask for your skin? And she was like, I feel bad because I don't want them to think their skin's bad. And I was like, well, one, why don't you say to them, like, your skin is already looking amazing, but if you want to add this thing on top of it to make it glow even more, so, right, we're not talking their pain points, we're talking to their pleasure points, then here's this offer. And law of detachment, like, if you want this or not, right? But giving good service. Because I said to her, people come to get their facials and they're spending money on themselves already. They usually want to spend more. People love spending money on themselves. You have to start realizing that. This is why girls love shopping. And what would happen is she was shocked. People loved the services. They kept on going for the upsell, and they kept coming back and asking for her. And she ended up having the highest month ever in December. So, right? I want you guys to start acting as if people have money, and they have money that they're saving because they want to pay you, right? Well, they don't even have to be saving it. They just have loads and loads of money that they're excited to spend on you and your services because they know it's going to change lives. And so I want you guys, when I say to you, like, here's 5 clients, I want you to ask yourself, is there anything coming up? Because what I find a lot is people are like, I want to manifest 10 clients when they come to me, right? And then I'm like, okay, well, is there anything in you that's saying like, I don't have the time, right? Do you actually have time to take 10 one-on-one clients? Is there anything saying like, oh my gosh, I don't know how to coach them actually? Where will they come from? They won't get the results that I hope they'll get. If those things are coming up, then those are the limiting beliefs that you have to take and rewire so that you can actually bring in the clients. That's what's standing in the way and blocking you from those 10 clients is the what's coming up, your ego, right? Your limiting beliefs that are saying, this is why I don't believe this. This is why this isn't true. This is why I'm scared to have clients. And so I want you to, after this episode, write down your goal and then anything that's coming up and then rewire that. So I love you guys so much. I just want you to know that your services are of the highest good. Like, you are needed on this planet. People need you. And if you're not showing up and you're not selling and you're not, putting yourself out there, like, what's going to happen to these people? They need your services from you. They need you, and you need to start realizing that. And once you start realizing that, your business changes because you show up differently, you attract differently, and the people come in. So remember, people are giddy to pay you, and you want to accept their money because you want to change their lives. I need you to see this. I need you to see this. So remember, you are incredible. You do incredible things. Your offers are amazing. They're changing lives. And you need to show up from that energy of people are giddy, excited, and they're lucky to pay you. People are lucky to pay you. Okay. Oof, I'm obsessed with that. I'm telling you guys, these nails, like, watch the F out. I'm a brand new bitch. Like, hide your dads, hide your wives. Okay, so I love you guys so much before I go crazy. And yeah, if you want any of my services, because I know you do, because I know you love to pay me, then come into my DMs. I have so many different services. I have become a soulmate magnet. That's a DIY course on how to attract clients in. I have DBA. That's for someone who's newer in business and wants to learn how to scale from 0 to 5K plus months. That program is my signature program and has everything you could ever want: a coach, a course, and a community. And then I also have one-on-one coaching, which is just the creme de la creme. So I love you guys. That's really for the person. The one-on-one coaching is for the person who's already had some success in their business, but they're ready for more. All my offers are good. They're just for different types of people. So it's not that one offer is better than the other. It's just what you're ready for at this point. So I love you. Get out there. Start feeling this way. Listen to this episode as much as you want. I feel like that's going to be your favorite episode. Obviously, message me if you loved it because I love hearing from you guys. And I just love you so freaking much. It's insane. Mwah.